Happy February. Surprise.
Happy New Year.
Back already.
Happy Christmas. Happy everything. How are you guys? So good to be here.
Yeah, thank you for all the people who have showed up live in the chat. We didn't give you guys much notice because, as you know, we took a bit of a break after Christmas, recharged ourselves over January, and now it is February.
Yeah,
and we are well into the year.
Gary A.
Yeah.
Spaces in Noise. All of you, thank you for coming along. It was a bit short notice. We very nearly didn't do this, but we figured, we've missed you, and we just wanted to check in and see how you all are, especially with the world being in the state it is at the moment, and especially to our friends in LA. But I hope you're all okay now. And I see Andrew K, you're here, and that's good. It's very good news.
Yeah.
And we got some news for you. It's going to be a sort of cut down slightly.
It's going to be a bit of a random conversational sort of show. So feel free to ask us questions in the chat and interject any stuff, any events you've got going on or new releases of things you want to tell us about. And we'll be watching
that. Yeah. Oh, Sophie, there you are. Hello.
Oh, hey, Sophie. Nice to see
you. Yeah. So it was NAMM last week, and I'm sure you all watched all of the Sonic State output. I was very lucky and honoured once again to be privileged enough to, how many words I'm going to use here, to be part of the team, albeit remotely. So we had a good old look at a lot of the output from NAMM. We might talk about that later on. Just wonder if you had anything you saw at NAMM. A lot of people were saying NAMM's sort of back to its old form.
That's
again.
Nice to hear.
Yeah, so it seemed a little bit more lively, a little bit more sort of going for it type vibe seemed to be happening.
Great, because so many sort of trade shows seemed like they were shutting down. There was a bit of a power thing. Some of them were stopping, some of them were struggling.
Well, I mean,
back.
Everything's going super booth.
Yeah.
Because so there seem to be more synthesizers at NAMM this year, and certainly a lot more interesting sort of things. And also Sonic State covered the Booklet and Friends event, which is in northern LA somewhere, up a dark alley, and that's also very nice because there's lots of makers and stuff. So yeah, I just interested to see if you saw anything interesting. Did you see anything interesting?
I did. I saw a couple of things. Should we share them now?
Should we talk about them later? Okay, let's talk about them later. But yeah, I've got a feeling we've got some news from you, haven't we?
We do.
Okay.
I'm going to throw a word out there for you guys. We've launched Substack. And for those of you who don't know, Substack started out as a sort of platform for writers to become independent, to earn money independently. It's kind of like Bandcamp for writers. Substack only take 10% of subscription fees, and writers can earn an independent living through their articles, which is becoming harder and harder as print media sort of slowly dies out. Hopefully it doesn't. Maybe there'll be a resurgence like there has been for vinyl. Who knows? But the thing about Substack is I've been going for a fair old while, and I've been following a few people on it, and I've been watching it grow and grow and grow. And I kind of, since the election, it feels like there was this floating population of people who were fed up with Twitter, and they went to Blue Sky, and then they went to Substack. Seems to have picked up a lot of people lately because it has a sort of news feed type thing connected with articles from writers. But anyway, I think it's an interesting place to read and learn about all sorts of stuff. If you want to get in on it, my main advice is follow Ted Gioia. He has a Substack called The Honest Broker, and he's a music historian, jazz historian predominantly.
He's all about jazz.
But he writes a lot about music technology and music culture and entertainment culture and history, and it's always very entertaining and rewarding. That's how I got into Substack, and now I follow all sorts of things on there. So we've launched one.
Loads of really great journalists have actually left print media and gone to their own, formed their own Substack. And the thing about Substack is, see, there's nothing wrong with the internet. We were talking about this the other day. There's nothing wrong with the internet. It's a great thing. What is wrong with life now is the platforms and the way they
gatekeep.
Well, they don't let you see the stuff. You subscribe to someone, you see like maybe 10%, 5% of what they do. But Substack doesn't do that. Is that right?
No, yeah, there's no algorithm currently, and they want to keep it that way. In fact, I believe Elon Musk offered to buy Substack from the CEO of Substack and merge it with Twitter and make the guy the CEO of Twitter and Substack combined. And he said, no, thank you. I want it to be a place where writers can make a living. I don't want it to have any political agenda. I just want it to be somewhere where artists can...
That's great news, but I feel like we've been here before, because I'm sure somebody at Bandcamp said something like that a good few years ago. And then when the right money came along, oh, yeah, okay, ka-ching.
Yeah.
And then you don't know where you are, because ultimately everything's for sale.
But I don't know if Bandcamp were given such an offer at the beginning. So I hope it bodes well.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're there for now. You can if you want to pay, but you don't have to. There's plenty of stuff on there for free.
Basically, it's going to be a place where we both write our rants. Rant and ramble and rave about things that have driven us mad.
I mean, our boosters will know on Bandcamp. Sometimes I post quite long posts on there for our subscribers. Not very often, but I do. And there is a character limit, so we have to split it over multiple posts, and it's a bit awkward. So I'll just be doing that sort of thing on Substack now and sharing it with you guys there. So my first big rant.
There's a message on Substack. So what's your first story, Bridget?
My first big story on Substack is why we're finally leaving Spotify. Yeah, you probably know if you've been here before, we don't like Spotify. We're not fans.
I tell you what, it's all the rage now, because even Björk has been doing interviews where she's going on about Spotify as the end of music.
Yes, and I believe like half of the Grammy nominees were invited to the Spotify after party, and they said, nope, we're not going to your party.
Sorry, Mr.
guys
Eck.
Are terrible.
I mean, the clue's in the surname.
Eck.
But the thing about Spotify, and something that actually grinds my gears a little bit, is that we've had this conversation many, many times over the years, and I've heard people responding to what we've said, not you guys. Okay, not you. This is someone else. Saying things to the effect of, well, if you're more interested in the money than getting the exposure, then that's fine. But, we're going to stay with Spotify because we just want the exposure. We don't mind about the money. Okay, so just want to make it absolutely clear. The money issue with Spotify is a big issue, and it's the way they distribute their money which is the problem, because it's completely unfair. But that's not the reason we're really leaving.
The iceberg.
The reason we're leaving is, well, I'm sure you're going to cover some of
that. Well, there's a lot, yeah. But first, just to touch on the money thing, it's true, artists don't make money from Spotify, and not everybody realizes that. Most, like, people who are intensely into music and love Bandcamp, buy stuff on Bandcamp, no. But for instance, at the gig in London, I was manning the merch stand, which was great fun. I love that part, meeting everybody afterwards. And a woman came up interested in Strange Gravity's CDs, and I said, if you buy two, it was £15 for both the albums. She said, I'll just look them up on Spotify. And I said, well, they won't make any income off that. Musicians don't make money from Spotify. She said, really? I didn't know that. Oh, well, I'll buy the CDs then. And I believe people want to pay for things that they like and support musicians and keep the music industry alive. But there's people just aren't aware.
Like if you're in a restaurant, and when you're in a restaurant, I always ask, if I tip the service in the restaurant, because I was a waiter, just like some of us were. It's a bloody good one too, I can tell you. Anyway, but the whole idea is, where does this money go? So I mean, even if it goes and gets split amongst the kitchen and the waiting staff, I have an issue with that. But there are restaurants where the management will pay the staff £3 an hour perfectly legally, and make up
£3.
Yeah, that's what happened in. Should I name? I think the restaurant's closed now.
Maybe legal reasons.
London's West End, but the staff were paid nothing, and the rest of the wage was made up with the tips.
I thought that only happened in America.
No, that happens here too.
Wow.
So it's the whole idea of, I want to show my appreciation for what a great night I've had. You've made it perfect. Here, this is yours. Okay, and that's what you think's happening. And that's what I think's happening when I pay for someone's music.
Yeah, when people buy Spotify subscriptions, they think that musicians are getting paid, but they're not.
Yeah.
In fact, the start of 2024, Spotify introduced a minimum threshold of 1,000 plays. So if you get under 1,000 plays on a track, you don't get any payout.
That's
at
us.
All. Yeah. Well, it's a lot of independent labels as well. So it's simultaneously crippling independent music and everybody who's just starting out and needs that leg up and that, way to grow.
We actually heard a really good interview. I don't know if any of you have checked out the Price of Music podcast with Steve
yes,
Lamack.
I should find a link.
It's a really good. You're going to look for the link. There was an interview with Simon Raymond, who was formerly of the Cocteau Twins, but now runs Bella Union Records in Brighton. He's been running it for nearly 20 years now. But Simon Raymond was literally talking about all the things you do when you're managing and you're publishing music and trying to get stuff going. And Bella Union is fairly successful. I mean, they had who did they have on them? I've forgotten. Oh, what's her name? Oh, it doesn't matter.
They've had loads.
But even Simon Raymond was basically saying, was it Raymond?
It's Raymond, I think.
There's an E at the end, isn't there? He was saying, I don't know if any of this works anymore. I mean, we do all the publicity, we do all the...
There are those who say that streaming as a business model doesn't work because most of the streaming companies, Netflix included, I think, are not actually profitable. They sink a lot of money into it, but they're still operating at a loss. So people are like, well, streaming doesn't work. And I say, if it doesn't work, then let's do something else. And I think the patronage model is definitely an alternative that is working. Places like Bandcamp, Patreon, Substack, where people can support artists on an ongoing basis. But the best thing to do, buy straight from the artist.
Yeah. But you know this. We've talked to you about this for years.
Yes, we've talked to you.
We've gone on about... I just want to say also, in the link, we've got the Price of Music podcast. About 2 or 3 of the Price of Music shows back, there's an interesting article about Lily Allen allegedly making more money from photos of her feet than from Spotify streams. Yes. For example.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have quite a big rant on it all on the Substacks.
You're going to go for it? Have we gone for it?
We've kind of gone for it. I could go for it more, though. There's so much.
How much rant can you take?
So not just the... Okay, I'll just tick them off quickly. But it's not just that it's not profitable for musicians. There are ethical concerns. They're a big data harvester. They're harvesting data to sell advertising on their platform. It's all about selling advertising. And to that end, they make music become a background experience rather than a front experience. People go to Spotify to put music on in the background and to create these sort of anodyne background music playlists, they started using library musicians. And yes, now, I mean, this hasn't been legally admitted anywhere, but there is a great suspicion there's a lot of AI music on the platform as well, which is great for Spotify because they don't have to pay rights on this music.
I mean, even if it's not AI music, there are definitely artists that have been signed to Spotify whereby they've got some kind of buyout deal, and these tracks, lo and behold, find themselves into all these playlists and get played all the time, and Spotify has to pay nothing.
We've talked about this on BOOcast before, the fake artist controversy of 2016-17, but recently Liz Pelly, the wonderful Liz Pelly, who's a music journalist.
Should we go over there?
Yeah. She has a series of articles on the Baffler from the last few years about all the things that Spotify do that are bad. But she's got a new one out on Harper's ahead of her book coming out, which actually proves beyond a doubt that Spotify has this internal program called Perfect Fit Content in which they promote these tracks.
Perfect Fit Content.
Yeah, or PFC. And she's like come across chats in their Slack in Spotify where employees have concerns. They're like, this seems a bit wrong. And yeah, it's true. That's what they're doing. So not only are they trying to demonetize musicians by turning it into a background experience for advertising, it's trivializing the whole music experience, which is for us central to our lives, and I would argue for a large percentage of humanity. It's an important part of life.
It's dark stuff. It's the fact that it's turning music into really turning it into just a commodity for background feelings to go along with other things. Now, a lot of us maybe have used music for that in the past, but we're all here because we care about music, and music is a central experience of our life. Music is an important piece of being a human being. And this, not to overstate it, is going to be the end of the human race if we don't all leave these platforms.
Why we're leaving. Why are we leaving Spotify now after all these years? Why were we on it for so long? Well, we were on it because they give you that promise that this is going to connect you with your listeners. And being an independent band, we do everything we can to connect with our listeners because it's hard to get yourself out there. But, it's one of those things where you accept a situation you don't really want because you think there's a greater good happening.
The greater good?
That's
if you ever hear that phrase... Just think.
Especially if you're making concessions for that phrase, doing something that makes you uncomfortable, and it's always made us uncomfortable being on Spotify. And we've only had our singles up there. We don't have our albums up there. Sorry, I keep banging my mic.
It's all right. Also, when I worked in a primary school, when kids were doing something naughty or something bad had happened or whatever, I used to be a learning mentor and a sort of child protection type thing. What we always said to the kids was, does it make you feel funny in your tummy? And that's, if you don't have the language to explain what's happening to you, so does it make you feel funny?
Yeah.
Then it's probably not good.
Yeah.
And Spotify makes me not feel right. We actually downloaded a free version of Spotify for New Year's Eve last year, and I had it for a week. And it made me feel weird. It felt wrong. Deleted it almost immediately. Especially as we basically left the iPad out for anyone to put on what they liked, and it kind of, the night kind of, I don't know.
Great.
It was great. I had to go to bed.
You've got to be the DJ.
I'm not a music Nazi, okay? Just I won't hear it. And I just want to say before we continue, is like, yeah, absolutely. Did everyone see Matt Hodson, Math's video about
AI?
His numerous.
Well, that.
Very late on as well. This is a live stream he did a couple of years ago. Suddenly getting content matched on YouTube by artists that had published their stuff after him.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just think a lot of this is a load of wide boys and chancers basically throwing the net out and saying, let's see if any of this sticks. You know, most of the time people might even just ignore it because they might not be making any money off their YouTube streams anyway. And, you know, I think it just stinks of.
I think we'll touch on
lazy criminal
behavior. We'll touch on the AI a bit more once I've finished ranting about Spotify.
So angry.
So I've got a tiny bit more to say, but basically, when you support musicians, you support the whole music industry. It's not, people have this idea in their head that musicians are sitting around having a great time.
Thanks for bringing it back to being positive.
Well, musicians are sitting around having a great time, and they should be grateful that they're just getting to make music, let alone getting paid for it. But the thing is, you're not just supporting a musician whose art is their life and who actually contributes quite a lot of good to humanity, I would argue. I mean, where would we be without Bowie and people like that? But, what was I saying? When you support musicians, you support the whole industry. It's not just musicians. It is engineers, it is lighting people, it is bar managers, it is people who organise festivals, it is composers. There's a real problem in Hollywood at the moment because there's an exodus of production to cheaper countries, basically, where it's being outsourced and more regional content's being made. That's a kind of a good thing, regional content. But it's all leaving Hollywood, and people are fearing that the industry is going to collapse for composers and orchestras.
Can I swear a little bit?
Yeah.
To quote the thick of it very slightly, it's like when you're supporting these real people, these sweaty, smelly, but collection of, we're basically bags full of tubes, aren't we? Bags of tubes are full of icky stuff. That's we're walking around, we're real, we're human, we're lumpy, we smell bad, we get upset, we get passionate, we're real. You know, so you're supporting a real person. That's important. Give a real person a really big, sweaty hug today. And what I would say is when you turn your back on these brushed aluminium robo-twats that we're being asked to take part in, that was the
that was the quote, no.
Then you're doing a good thing for the human race, because literally they want nothing less than all of us to be just filed down.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, it looks like a lot of you talking here are really agreeing. Gary G saying comment about the cost of production is effectively zero nowadays. I mean, this is ridiculous, isn't it? There's no, it's no understanding of what's anything
involved.
Actually costs.
Yeah.
And Nick's saying, not kidding, but the end, and well done, Nick, for cancelling it. I think we should just get the hell away from these things.
Yes, and that was the ultimate decision. It's like, if we really want these things to change, we've got to put our money where our mouth is. We've got to actually change the way we operate.
Never mind this whole slightly pusillanimous thing we were doing recently, which was we put our singles on Spotify because we thought, maybe, nah. You got to put your money where your mouth is. And I'm saying that to all of you that have Spotify accounts and say, think seriously about going back to some other way of buying music. I know it's convenient, but you know what?
It's
prison cells are convenient as well.
I mean, I've got an iPod. Chris, you have the little, what's it called? X Duo.
I think I've got
media players, you know? They're
little,
great fun.
Yeah.
If not your phone. I mean, most phones these days, I've got 80 gigabytes of music on my phone, and it's
Plus,
brilliant.
don't forget, all it takes is a flick of one switch and everything disappears. You don't own anything.
Yeah.
And you
not to mention all the music that's not on Spotify. There's so much obscure, random stuff, especially all from artists as well who have boycotted the platform and have refused to be on there.
It's really happening. I was talking to Melita as well. Melita put a message up, and she's just, I think there's going to be a massive exodus. So I think people are starting to be a bit sick of it, and they're starting to realise.
And this is it. It's when we move together as a culture, and we need to educate everybody, so everybody knows. And it's just a given. When you like an artist, you buy their CD or you buy the digital download directly from them if possible. So rant over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking.
There
to
may
see
be more ranting
do
about
any
other
of you
things.
really disagree? I mean, I'm just looking, and it looks like none of you really seem to disagree, unless some of you are just staying quiet because you don't feel that. I mean, if you disagree, just let us know. I'd really be interested to hear the alternative argument. I mean, the only thing I can think of that could possibly count in favour of Spotify is it's convenient, but I don't like music to be convenient.
Here's a question to ponder from AD Vision. Would Bowie and the Beatles, etc., make it today if they started now? That's a very interesting question, because there is a big trend in all entertainment industries is to go with tried and true franchises or packages that already have an audience. So influencers releasing books, Marvel movies times a million, any proven, because the counterculture, I'm sure the counterculture will return. We just need to find our ways of get out in the real world, see each other, see us on Substack, but the real world's better. Yeah, the
real world's better. And speaking of the real world, we do have a gig coming up, but we'll tell you about that in a moment. Are we finished shouting?
I'm finished ranting about Spotify.
Yeah.
Thanks,
to come
guys.
Back with a rant, but I mean, we just want to say let's put our money where our mouth is. What have you got there?
Well, should we segue through Matt's AI thing?
Yeah, okay.
To talking about AI.
I mean, if you didn't see it, Matt Hodson, we haven't got it up, but he did a video where he basically suddenly got content struck by YouTube. Or was it YouTube? No, it wasn't. It was Apple Music, and 5 different artists claimed that he'd basically copied their music. MATT.
I've put it.
Okay.
It's ungoogleable. Matt, what's your YouTube handle? Where is he?
I don't think he's here.
I think it's math, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Anyway.
But basically, he got busted and told he was going to have to share his money from these streams with these 5 other artists. And he basically went and said, well, I wonder if I've accidentally somehow, during this improvised live stream I did 2 years ago, somehow copied these artists almost perfectly. And there it is.
There it is. Have I been AI'd?
There we go. So there's Matt.
Put the link in the chat.
Nice moustache, by the way, Matt. I look forward to running my fingers through that. So
goodness.
Yeah, I know, goodness. But yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, how are you going to...
Well, in a related topic to AI, we watched a really good video from one of our favourite YouTube channels called Corridor Crew. If you don't know them, they kind of take apart VFX, how things are made. They're all VFX artists. They run a VFX studio. Being an animator, I have similar interests and understandings of what they do. But they debunk some AI videos. There were some viral videos that came out around the LA fires, unfortunately. Things showing like the Hollywood sign on fire and things like this all lit up. And they're the whole video is teaching people how to spot AI video because it's becoming more and more prevalent. And they take apart some ads, which are brilliant. And it's really interesting because the things that AI is good at are generic images.
Oh, this is yeah.
Oh, I thought you had my screen on.
I did, yeah. Sorry. I thought I'd cut back to you for a second, but then
But yeah, it's good at sort of generic images. And Coca-Cola really invented this super generic 80s advert with the trucks. And they had some new ads made. Anyway, it's valuable because they explain how to spot it. But it's also interesting because at some point they go into dead internet theory.
Back to you, dead internet theory. I just noticed. I've noticed some of you saying there's been a little bit of buffering. I'm sorry for that. Once again, YouTube seems to be back up to the data rate it should be.
Maybe we should just connect it via Ethernet next time. Would you think that would help?
It is connected via Ethernet, yeah. It's going straight out the back of the ATEM into the plug.
Oh, so it is. Never mind.
Anyway, better now.
Dead internet theory. They talk about the fact that it's turning into a place where it's no longer humans interacting with each other, but it's machines producing
stuff for machines.
Stuff for machines, basically. So yeah, it's a good video, and really enjoy Corridor Crew, and recommend that you watch that one to help spot.
Yeah, they're really good. And there's another one
videos.
with some really. I mean, this is AI videos, so it's not really AI.
This isn't AI videos. This is like
wrong.
Is it Second Life or something?
Bad CG. It's great. This guy. What's he called?
Bob the
Hard
Fish.
Sell. Bob the Fish.
Very disturbing presentation style. He uses this 3D avatar, which looks like it came from Second Life, with very 90s lack of lighting. But he writes exceptionally well about television culture, ads and things throughout history. And in this video, he goes through some of David Lynch's ads, and they are fantastic. They're just totally Lynchian, and a reminder of the wonderful artists that we sadly lost this month.
Yeah, totally. Just say hi to Ian J. Cole and Technomatic. Simon, good to see you there. Yeah, no Corridor Crew fans there.
Oh, excellent.
Check out Bob the Fish. He's quite good.
Yeah.
The Hard Sell.
There's
a good one. It's Margaret Thatcher, A Warning from History.
That's a good series.
It's great. He actually does point out some of the great things about Margaret Thatcher. And she invented Mr. Whippy. Did you know that?
Yeah. She was a chemist.
I
don't know if that makes up for...
It makes up for a lot. I mean, I think it's like Breaking Bad, really, isn't it? But with a bigger haircut.
Yeah, you're right. It is Breaking Bad. But I really like... that was one of the things I wanted to mention about the Corridor Crew video, is the phrase AI slop is becoming a phrase that everybody's using to describe the kind of the meltdown of the AI languages. I know there's all this fuss now about the new Chinese one, which is super efficient, but they all are reaching model collapse, where they've used up all the human input that they can, and it's now feeding back on itself, and it's degrading and degenerating. And well, we're not big fans of AI.
Well, if I have to, I mean, we don't have a link for this, but there was a study done fairly recently on model collapse, where they basically fed into a large language model its own output over and over again. And it was after about 6 or 7 generations. They asked it something about medieval churches in Somerset. And the first answer made some sense. But by the time it got to 5 or 6 or 7, it was literally just mangled. It wasn't language anymore, and it was saying the word duck over and over again for some reason.
Is that the one where it mentions cow eggs?
Oh no, that's something else.
Something else.
Yes.
I love this idea of cow eggs.
Yeah. But people are poisoning themselves from typing in, asking AI for recipes, and it's like,
not a good idea.
So don't
do that.
It's already said it wants to wipe out the human race. I mean, you will be asked to cook cow eggs eventually. We've
both had to use it for our work. I've had to use it a bit recently, and it's it's like, how did you describe it? It's
like having a very precocious 8-year-old working beside you, and you just have to check their...
that might be slightly charming, though.
Check their work.
I just lose patience with it.
There's nothing charming about 8-year-olds.
It's very good at generic things as well. That's kind of the only thing it's good at is,
as Bill Hicks said,
most unimaginative things.
You're not human until you're in my phone book.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but I mean, I didn't mean it to sound in any way bad.
I know, and you've just set me off on a chain of thought. I was thinking about another article I read about the Instagram face, and how that high cheekbone but look, sort of thin eyes look, that women are actually getting plastic surgery to look like this now. Like, there's a huge industry of it
to look
Instagram.
Like inflatable dolls.
But I think it's that averaging out of appealing features to become something totally generic and bland. because there's like
And
everything's ironed out. And
strangely, without any kind of cultural
Yes.
attachment either. So there's no connection
there's this
to.
vague, darkish
Anywhere.
skin and like sampled features from various different cultures. It's very unhealthy, but I am trusting that humans will have a backlash towards the human, the things that make us what we are.
Very well said, Gary. Elwood, the biggest failing of these large language models is that it can't or won't say, I don't know. It's like,
Yes.
yeah,
quite right.
always has an answer.
Yeah.
I loved it. Somebody described the large language, the AI. I mean, there's nothing about AI. Let's get that absolutely straight. It's basically, somebody described it as a really clever talking thesaurus that can basically just quickly scrub through everything and go, is it this?
Yeah.
Which is not intelligence.
No.
God, we're very angry today.
I'm not angry. I'm very hopeful. All of this,
Okay.
to me, bodes the end of something and the beginning of something better. Because if we're frustrated, we're not the only ones. Other people are frustrated. And people don't want this stuff. It's being kind of forced on us. And people are opting out. People are getting dumb phones, you know?
But Wagyu, hello Wagyu. Good to see you again.
Hey.
You're quite right. There's a lot of body dysmorphia going on. So all this stuff that's
Yeah.
happening, it's actually reflecting back on people, and they're being pressured into copying this totally distorted image coming back.
Yes.
I mean, this has always been a thing, but it seems that it's
accelerated somewhat.
It's something really disturbing about the fact that the image that we're being asked to aspire to isn't even human anymore. Really, it's just this kind of bland, airbrushed, sanded out thing. And the music we're supposed to be listening to is this sort of,
background music.
Fight, assert your humanity, walk into a big crowd of people and do a massive fart and declare yourself to be human.
Oh, can't we do something nicer?
No.
Give them a cake.
I insist. You will destroy the cyber monsters by simply farting.
I don't know about that.
It's very human.
It's very human.
I
AI can't fart.
You see? It'll be the test in the future. You watch. You mark my words.
Can it fart?
What's the Turing test, isn't it? So, eat these beans.
Yeah.
And wait.
Now what?
Oh. Are you human?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so sorry to talk about farting. I know some of you are quite fragile. No, you're not.
Should we talk of the NAMM?
Yes, let's talk about NAMM. So, I mean, I haven't seen any mentions of NAMM coming up, but yeah, we saw a couple of things.
Should we actually share our friend's video first? Because I've talked about.
I don't know. Do you want to talk? Look, I'll give you a second to think about NAMM if there's anything you saw that you particularly found exciting. But first, our great friends Becky did a gig just before the last BOOcast before Christmas, which we went to, which was wonderful.
It was amazing.
Containing tracks from lots of their albums and one or two interesting cover versions, which obviously are rather good. But they've just re-recorded their whole live show live in one go and released it as a if we can grab that. Drop the link into the thing. It's called what's it called? Sorry, I've forgotten. Bones. I've got it. Blood and Pete.
Droppings.
Blood and drop. No. Bones and droppings. Bones and drop.
Bone and droppings.
Bone and droppings. There you go.
There, I've got it.
I actually thought I'd hallucinated that because I've been talking about farting so much that. There we go. Bone and droppings. There we go. Highly recommend it. And there. Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah. There it is. We've got our copy here.
Yes.
It's wonderful. It sounds
lovely, fluorescent pink. Matte finish.
It's great. We're going to play you a track from it now, which is House of the Black Madonna. So on YouTube, the entire live thing is accompanied by. Are you showing?
Oh yeah,
I've got it here. Yeah, it's beautiful. Black.
Yeah.
PS1.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, the good old days. So it's out now. Check it out, and I'm gonna hit you with. I mean. We'll possibly play the whole thing. I'm not sure. We'll see how we go. But yeah, there are cover versions on there. For example, there's a cover of Pen, Pineapple, Apple, Pen by, I've forgotten his name.
Picatara,
is that him? Which is astonishing. And there's also a cover version of the
Round the Twist theme song.
Round the Twist theme song, which, Peter, I think you called it Millennial Crack song. I seem to remember you calling it that.
Yeah, it worked for me.
Fart Sample Library sounds wonderful. Thank you, Kath. Yes. Not a bad idea, but let's be careful we don't... You see, once you've digitized your farts...
They can be robbed.
They can be robbed.
Humans.
Robbed by the brushed aluminiums.
Yes.
As we're going to call them from now on.
Fart in real life.
But yeah, let's...
Fart in real life. Firf?
It sounds like a little dry one.
Yeah.
A little Tommy squeaker. All right, guys, we're going to let you have a listen to... this is House... I think it's House of the Black Madonna.
I can't remember which one.
I can't remember. I'm sorry, we're so out of control tonight, but here we go. Let's have some music. Here we go. I just cut way too early, so I'll cut back. Okay.
We did
Sorry
it right
about
then.
the early cut there. That's where it ends. So thanks, Becky. That was beautiful.
So
great
good.
song. And yeah, it was great to see them live. So go and check out that CD, and also, yeah, check out the animated full length. It's the whole gig animated and stuck together. So yeah.
Nice night in, nice Friday night in with
Friday
some
night
music.
in,
That's
yeah.
what we like to do. Put on
Yeah.
some live music or go out and see live music. But if you can't go out and it's cold, watch some of that.
Hey, we went out in the middle of the night to the beach.
We
didn't
did.
And we just looked at the stars.
Yes.
Just before St. Bridget's Day.
We've been walking. And I think the walking is good.
Yes. There's a word for it, isn't there?
Well, there's this phrase from Old Latin, Solvitur Ambulando. Solvitur Ambulando, which means it is solved by walking.
It could also mean if you sniff solvents, you'll end up in an ambulance.
Solvitur Ambulando.
See? Sorry.
But I love this concept, and it's true. It's so good for the brain, the soul, everything. Just really getting into walking lately.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, the amount of people that Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg famously used to just go for long walks, and that's where they invented the
uncertainty principle.
The uncertainty principle and complementarity.
And Freud used to walk. Not Freud. Nietzsche another German. That's where I've gone wrong.
Well, they're all out in the open, aren't they?
He walked
walking
about
around
7 hours a day.
With their lederhosen on and not much else, I hasten to add.
7 hours is a lot, but really feeling the difference. It makes, in these dark, wintry months when it feels like we can't go anywhere or do anything sometimes, but just bundle yourself up and start walking. And
obviously, if you're walking, you probably want more sort of like portable synthesizers to take with you so that you can make some lovely walkable synth music, and which is an excellent segue, I'm sure you'll agree, into where's the
which one?
NAMM stuff. Yeah, there we go. So we've got thank you, by the way, for all of your NAMM suggestions, and I'll just go through them. So the Nick Howard says the Behringer CZ Mini. So is that out now? I didn't actually see the video for that. So so have we tried it? Is it on its way to you?
No, I don't. Should I look it up?
I mean, but Behringer definitely were. I mean, they were kind of the stars of the Sonic State show. I mean, the video of the BX, I think it's the BX1, this thing here, really took the biscuit from Sonic State. It was like the most viewed video of the whole thing. And, I mean, it does look quite incredible, doesn't it? And it's a sort of a DX1 with the filters of a CS80.
Amazing.
Jammed together. Both synthesizers which aren't currently in production, and also two things jammed together which we've possibly never seen before. So, I mean, I thought that looked quite good. What about you? Did you have anything you...
Yes, I thought it was very, just really lovely, this invention from Arcana Instruments called the Strum. And it's there's so many people trying to reinvent the instrument for how we approach music making. But this one was designed for people who have a physical disability, specifically people with cerebral palsy. And he worked with these people so that they can play anything. It's not limited. Like, he's got the chords there for Autumn Leaves, and it's a totally different way of approaching it, and it's simple, and you don't have to use fine motor skills, but you can, use your gestures, use your body in the way that it works, and still engage with people and share music making with them, which I thought was just lovely.
Yeah, that was a really lovely thing to see. I mean, it reminded me very slightly of the recorder from last year, which was, if you remember, that was a very inexpensive MIDI controller, but it was also just a recorder. You could play it without plugging it in, but it was designed as a sort of inexpensive way of learning music and using it.
That.
And you didn't have to put it into that big bucket of disinfectant. I don't know, did you get that?
We didn't even have those buckets in my school.
You all caught each other's diseases. We were forced to drink a lot of bleach as children.
I suppose that's a different form of being tough.
We're well tough. But Nick Howes again says that Korg was doing a reduce, reuse and recycle program, which is quite interesting. I mean, I assume you're talking about the 700S M. Is that what it was called?
Oh, yeah.
S&M.
That one.
It looks beautiful. But I see what you mean. It's like, how much of the past can we redigest? But I mean, it does also sound beautiful too, and it's lovely. And Simon Forsyth, I know do you still have your original 700? It was a 700S you had, wasn't it? think you're there.
But there's a delay, so you won't.
Well, there's a delay, so you won't. But it does sound incredible. Yeah, and nice. And Andrew Kubicheski, yes, of course, it was during the fire, so you weren't paying attention. You were probably just busy
fighting fire,
holding the fort. I hope everything's okay with you there. Is everything in one piece? Send us a picture. I mean, we saw the pictures on your Instagram of the oncoming flames and the clouds, and that's absolutely terrifying. I hope everything's at least beginning to get back to normal there. I know obviously such a lot has changed for such a lot of people out there. But sending you our love. Again, this is kind of part of the reason we're doing it tonight. We very nearly didn't do it because we thought we need more time to prepare, but we really wanted to just see you.
These are the dark, hard months, the beginning of the year.
Yeah. AD Vision has told us about the Korg record players. That was quite interesting. It had sort of built-in sort of crossfader and the ability to sample bits and do little interesting things. Yeah, it was quite nice.
That's interesting.
It was lovely. But yeah, there was something else that you saw.
I had the Donna L1 synthesizer, which is pretty cool. Bit like
well, it's an SH101, isn't it? But it divides. Can you scroll forward so we can see its magic trick?
Which magic trick?
Go forward. He's going to do it later on.
Oh,
that thing. Bit further. Bit further. Bit further.
It's right at the end.
There it is.
Yes.
It breaks in two. Anyway, that's enough of that. So that looks quite interesting. It sounded all right as well. It was quite interesting. The review. The guy was really nice reviewing it, but he maybe isn't so much of a synthesizer user. But Nick was.
Well, he had the Grandmaster to present to.
Well, yeah. So Nick was going, I'll just do this. And just change that. Yep, that sounds all right. Because he wasn't really driving it properly, but it was good to see it being done. Yeah, the 700 FS Ian J. Cole's got. Yeah, I mean, it's got a vibe. I mean, it's described as a sort of Human League type sort of sound. It's got that gnarly thing going on. Actually, it's not Human League, is it? It's OMD. They used it, didn't they? Or was it 700? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But it's beautiful stuff. Anything else?
A few interesting things people were saying. I like Peter D. Mason shared this old quote: "The best way to make money in music now is to have made it in the 90s." That's quite true.
Oh, well, that's okay.
It's a bit of a joke, but yeah. But Hi, Mum. My mum, Kath, said when Da Vinci was negotiating payment for his art with the Medici family, who were his patrons, Medici said, but why should I pay you? You are already the richest person in the world. You can create anything. Like, yeah, well, except food and a house. I need you to pay me for that.
Yeah. I'm just looking here. Wagyu said, where is it? The Chordcat. Yeah, that looks interesting, didn't it? It's basically I think you put a chord in, there's a little grid, and it gives you, basically, starts with your chord, and the further away you go, the more of a tenuous connection to the next chord it is, and it sort of builds up. There was actually a website I saw, and oh no, I have forgotten it.
Oh, you emailed it to us.
But it does a similar thing, and it's free to use.
Hit something.
Sorry, I have forgotten. I should have, if I'd known. Do you know?
It's called Hit Something.
Hit Something.
Oh.
Hit Something. But yeah, the Chordcat looks interesting. It's the whole sort of like, get you away from your standard set of chord progressions that we all have habits, don't we? I certainly know I do. We've actually been beginning to
hook theory.
Hook theory. Do you want me to cut to it?
Yeah, hold on.
We'll show you hook theory. So this is quite interesting. I think you have to go.
How do I do it?
Go to try products. Yeah.
Bookpad.
No.
Classroom.
I don't know. No, let's leave it. Anyway, hook theory. Go and check it out. It does sort of the same sort of thing as Chordcat, but the Chordcat obviously is a tiny little standalone thing, and currently only available in Japan. But hopefully it'll be making a move soon. Is that definitely the right place?
Yeah, you sent it to me. It's you were typing in like a chord, and then it found all the songs that do that chord progression.
Yeah. It's nicely animated. So you start with a chord, and it gives you a little tree of, you could go here, 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 and as you connect along, it sort of slowly reconfigures itself, and then it will give you multiple examples of songs that use that chord structure. So the chord progression.
Here it is, the chord progression builder.
There you go.
Chord probabilities. Learn where the chords go next.
Chord
Click a chord.
probabilities.
Well, we'll start obvious. We'll go
There
C.
you go, and it does that.
That's
And if you look down in the middle here, there's songs that use what you've got so far.
So we've got C. Let's go D minor. Go weird.
There you go. And go from the D minor to
E minor.
Yeah.
And then let's go, because there's only 2% of the songs recorded. Go back to C on there.
There's only
awesome song by Jameer.
It's so awesome. So
the adventurous Jameer.
It's pretty interesting. So you can see, like what you just did is go back to the one.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Yeah. But yeah, really good. Oh, the circle guitar, Thomas, amazing. I'm just thinking
wow.
So how long is it before someone attached razor blades to that thing, though, and just goes around, axing things to pieces?
It sounds like a Japanese horror film. It's a bit like, I'm thinking we were talking about Battle Royale earlier, so that's where my mind is.
Yeah. Human League used it. Yeah. Thanks, Ian.
Well,
yes.
Congratulations to Nick Howes, who not only left Spotify recently, but also Amazon and Twitter. Good for you.
Oh, wow.
And mentioned...
We've got to work on the Amazon
telling
thing.
Their kids that. And it's good. Teaching them.
It's such a pain, because we go to the local music shop. We're near Brighton, so you can work out which music shop that is if you know Brighton. They've literally never got anything that I need. I mean, it's become like B&Q. I mean, if you... B&Q is just nobody knows what they're doing, and they've never got what you need. And it's just
it's not that bad.
Okay, it's not that bad. I love it. I've been going there since it opened. It opened in '92 or something.
Wow.
I bought my Juno 6
so many
from there.
things. Half the things
or
from
rather,
there.
Kirk Brandon bought my Juno 6 for me.
Yeah.
He went up to the till and sort of vaguely threatened the guy. I got it for a very good price.
That's nice.
Nick
Howes also said Ai Weiwei had a really good take in The Observer last weekend on AI. We'll have to check that out.
Okay, yeah, we will.
Peter Coit made a really good point. Car makers removing CD players from cars was a massive blow to physical media. I didn't know they did that.
That's huge, isn't it?
That's terrible. I love having CDs in the car.
And what's more, the whole thing about the screens that all cars have now, those touch screens are cheaper than the actual buttons that we used to have. So there's no way they're going to go back because it's cheaper. Yeah. The thing about the touchscreens is you have to look at them to use them.
Yeah, unlike buttons and switches where you can just...
It's ridiculous.
Oh, I'm glad our car doesn't have that. What are we going to do when we need a new car?
Tell you what we're going to do.
Get an old car.
Go to an old car dealership and we're going to fart till we're unconscious to show them that we're human.
That's a good idea. I like it.
Back to the farts.
Well,
sorry,
there's a thing. In the video for nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Okay.
I don't know if I'll be able to find it actually, but in the video for what's that song where I'm walking through the desert? It's one of ours. Unbecoming, thank you, off our last album. I'm walking through a desert. I walk past this old 1947 Chevrolet truck. And the truck is originally it's the truck that...
it's a classic.
What's his face sits on in Paris, Texas, in the middle of nowhere. Oh, I love him. What's the guy's name? My brain's gone.
Harry Dean
Stanton, thank you. Lovely yellow old Chevy. Anyway, I had to model it in Blender in 3D. And while I was looking for reference, I discovered this car company that is remaking the 47 Chevy almost exactly as it was, but new. I hope it does. I don't think it's got touch screens in it, but they're basically reproducing it with some mod cons like air conditioning and power steering. But I think that's really cool. Bring back those old designs. I love classic sort of car design. Peter?
I'm blushing.
Oh, that's a bright.
Well, I actually don't feel very healthy. I actually stopped.
Peter said Chris looks very healthy and handsome tonight.
I'm not wearing my glasses because I've realised that I actually can see better without them at this distance I am from things.
Is that bad or good?
I don't know if it's bad or good. I mean, what the hell? But thank you, Peter. That's I feel... how about a nice bottle of wine sometime? That'd be nice.
Hey.
You'll be fine. But we've both been quite sort of unwell.
We had...
there's been a global illness.
Yeah, we had a cold, which was like 2 weeks of coughing. And
you had it in Australia.
I had it in Australia, and then you had it here at the same time. My family in Australia has had it, and when it's finished, you just keep coughing, just It's horrible.
So I've stopped.
Oof.
I used to smoke, and then I vaped, and now I don't do either of those things. And it's been very, very tough.
Good
I was actually
you.
around at our friend's house last night, and I very nearly.
But you resisted.
Had a drag on his. I went, God, that looks delicious. Give me some. And then Bridget saw me.
I have never restricted you, but I just reminded you of what you said.
And I hate that kind of behaviour. I hate it when people go, darling, is it okay if I have a little roll up?
I'm not responsible. You can have whatever you like.
Grow up.
I just was reminding you that you said you didn't want to anymore.
But no, it's absolutely it. But I think I'm currently in the process of perhaps cleansing myself. I mean, there's a massive cleansing process.
Good.
I won't talk about farting again. I promise. So thank you very much, Peter.
Speaking of how Chris looks, does anybody like this shirt?
Oh, yeah.
It was a birthday present from me.
Now, come on, you all know what this is.
Some people will know what it is. It's quite subtle.
Yeah.
Is it something we should put in the Boo shop? Perhaps?
We could put it in the Boo shop.
Would you like a
shirt
like this?
What's the name of the font again?
I always think it's
Data 70.
Yes, Data 70. It's
Data
not
70.
rollerball. I always get them mixed up.
So you should know what that is. Anyway, that's obviously a old Roland SH1, SH2, SH, all those ones. The early synths had this. Take it off. Thank you, Peter.
It's so confusing that the two, their Z looks like a 2.
Yeah. But yeah, would you like one of these? I mean, we could make them and put them in the shop.
When you're wearing it like that, it just says the size.
Because obviously Synthesizer used to be the size.
The sizer?
I'm the sizer.
The size. The sizz? Fesses.
People are going to become impossible. They're not going to be able to keep their hands off me if they're not careful.
Sorry.
And so yeah, it might be nice. But farting is a cleansing process in itself. It is. Yes, Simon, you're absolutely right. It's getting rid of the bad juju out of your
toxins
bottom.
Out.
I've said bottom now.
Well, I'm just going to flick over to our Boo stuff for a minute because our boosters, those who support us in a sustaining way with monthly donations, get exclusive merch like this two-tone booster mug. It's beautiful. It's luminous. It's just great. I mean, it doesn't actually glow in the dark, but it looks nice. But if you want to support us in a sustaining way, subscribe. We have loads of exclusive messages, exclusive releases. I think there are like 16 EPs or something now. Benefits. If I go benefits, we'll see them all. Oh, yes, look, more. There's so much stuff.
Yeah, there were 3 EPs just went up at Christmas because we were aware we were going to be away for a while and we thought, well, I just wanted to send you off with something to keep you going. Some of it is stuff that never got released from a while ago, but some of it is actually stuff that has just been thrown together very recently. And Bridget had a perfect phrase for it because I've been... aside from working and doing stuff, we've both been trying to build some stuff up together. And what was it you called it?
I said you're sautéing the onions.
Sautéing the onions. So it's not quite creative music yet, but it's like we're sort of beginning the cooking process.
Doing the ingredient prep.
And it's feeling good. We're just slowly getting back in there because it's been a long.
We're excited. You know, we've done
winter.
The album. We've toured for like a year. Well, we played a few gigs last year. And now we're ready to get back in the studio and record some new stuff. Hopefully still being able to play live because what we did last year, I mean, we didn't tour, we just played a few gigs, but what we did was actually revolutionize the live setup. It's more compact and efficient than it's ever been.
Actually thinking of making it even more compact by getting the Zoom L6. Has anyone grabbed that? I know you have, Peter. 32-bit float. It seems amazing. Actually, we've got a little video at the end, which we'll share with you, which is from our gig at Chats Palace in London, which was lovely, but the sound isn't great because it's from a camera that's right at the back in the crowd, so you can actually hear more of the crowd, and it's also a bit. Anyway, you'll see, and it's locked off, but it's also it's videotape, so it feels like it's like
a bootleg recording from the past.
And so we're putting it up just for you for that. But the interesting thing is with the L6, I don't know if any of you have one yet, apart from Peter. He very kindly showed it to me the other night. It looks great. I mean, 32-bit float, 10 tracks being recorded.
USB powered.
Well, also runs on 4 AA batteries, and it's got enough ins and outs for us to use it as a live mixer. And just hit record, bang, and all the independent tracks get recorded while you're playing.
I'm so excited about it. I think we have to have it.
And because it's 32-bit float, obviously you don't have to set the level. So I mean, Technomatic, Simon, you've got the which one was it? You got one of the Zoom, the new 32-bit float recorders, and you said I seem to remember you saying it felt weird not setting the record level. It's just like it feels like whoa.
Peter Coit said the Zoom L6 works really well.
Yeah, the L6.
Yeah.
Oh, where's that?
At the bottom.
Have you got one, Peter? Okay. I mean, I think I'm definitely going to go for it because it's. Oh, really? Two 24-bit ones. So is one of them at one level and the other one at another level? So it's kind of.
Wow.
Yeah, strange. That's strange. But yeah, I think we're going to go with that. It's all about making it lighter. Sadly, after the gig in London, we were both basically broken because I mean it's just a little. It's just a small. Rig.
I think it's the combination of wrangling desk jobs and then live and lugging stuff around because you're just moving your body in unexpected ways.
Yeah,
it's yeah.
But
it's not because we're getting old.
You sure about that? Okay, I mean, yeah, but anything that makes it lighter and better, the better. But
yes.
Yeah. But we do actually have a gig in the calendar, which we can tell you about now. Just to let you know, it's in the Brighton Festival. Have you got it there?
I've just added it to the website.
Okay, so there it is.
Click on more info.
More info.
It's part of the Brighton Fringe, and it's going to be at the Brunswick in Hove, which is a really lovely pub. It's quite big.
I think it's going to be in the basement at the Brunswick, which is actually quite a nice little venue.
Oh, that's great. It's been redone recently, and it's aiming to be a sort of premier venue for live music in Brighton. They're really pushing lots of stuff, so I'm really excited to be playing there.
When's that?
May 2nd, so quite a while off.
May 2nd. So yeah, we'll get ready for that at some stage, but we hope
just before Super Booth.
If any of you have needs for a synth duo to come and play at your venue, give us a shout and we'll start sticking you all into our calendar.
Yeah, especially around May, because we'll be all like ready to go.
Ready to go and ready to do it. And actually, it'll be great. So the interesting thing about the L6 is just the idea that you can record all the stems without any additional hardware. Just go bang, record, and it's already mixing.
Or monitoring, even.
Well, I mean, it's got two aux outs, so I'm going to send you one of those as your in-ear monitor thing.
Oh, yeah. That reminds me, I've got to get those molded in-ears.
And I've got to get some as well, but have we been going on a bit late tonight?
Yeah, we've had a big show considering we didn't think we had much, but that's what happens when you rant about Spotify. Sorry, guys.
I just really wanted to Saltaire in April. Oh yeah, A-Division. Let us. Oh, the park gig. Will it be warm? Get in touch with us, A-Division.
Get in touch.
Just email us and get in touch, or give us a call, or whatever, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, I saw it. I've been assured it wasn't as cold as it looked. So yeah,
everyone said it was fun from what the chat.
Yeah, it's a beautiful idea. Lovely thing to do. Get in touch.
Cool.
So yeah.
We'll let you go, I think.
Are we there? We're done. I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's really meant a lot to us.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a dark, cold, bleak old winter time, and we just want to emerge from... when was St. Bridget's Day?
On Saturday.
So it's and it's also called
otherwise known as Imbolc in the pagan calendar. It got turned into St. Bridget's Day by the Catholics. They were like, "Oh, that's a good holiday."
It's contentious. We don't know if it actually was the Catholics. It might not be.
Oh, I thought it was the Catholics.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Interesting.
But I've heard people say it wasn't.
Oh.
But the whole thing about Imbolc and St. Bridget's Day, it's about celebrating the return of the light to the land. So it's
traditionally the start of lambing season and of sort of preparing to sow seeds for the summer and, plant those ideas. Let them grow.
Get your lambs out and start planting. We just planted a tree.
We planted a tree. Thank you to the friends who bought us that tree.
Cider apple tree in our garden, which is going to be lovely. So then we may have a thimble of cider in autumn.
At least apple juice,
which would be lovely. Or apple juice, yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
it's been lovely having you here. It feels feels good.
It's going to be a good year, everybody. Thank you for being here, especially considering we barely gave you any notice. It's a delight to see you all in the chat, and we can't wait till next month when we will hopefully have a synth of the month for you. I don't want to make promises on Chris's behalf, but he's also, you wanted to ask about...
it's something I wanted to say just before we sign off for the night. I've run out of synthesizers, and I was just having an idea. I don't want to steal Patch from Scratch from Sonic State and Matt Hodson.
I thought of an alternative.
Well, no, but I was thinking of maybe what's the alternative? Sorry.
Sound from the ground.
Okay.
Sound from the ground up. No,
okay.
Let's work on it. We'll workshop that.
No,
Maybe you guys can think of a good idea. But basically, Chris will demonstrate.
Well, I'm thinking of possibly revisiting some of the synths and making some specific sounds on them, and just going through making a sound, which a lot of people find entertaining and fun to do. And there's a lot of times where we can share our techniques and the things we do with these instruments. That might be an idea. What do you think? Maybe, possibly. Anyway, we'll see. We'll work that out. But I just really want to say, while I'm thinking about that, we'll work it out. We'll probably have another synth of the month if I can find something that I haven't done anything with before. Just really want to say thank you, don't we?
Really want to say thank you. It's you guys are amazing. We've had some grief in our life recently, and it really throws into focus what's important and what matters. And for us, it's you guys and music. It means so much to us to share these connections across the world with you guys. Yeah. Knowing we're all kind of on this journey together is really lovely.
I mean, there's been some dark days, and we've both been quite ill as well. And it's just like the nights have been so dark lately. It's been so weird. It's just one of the things that has kept us going through this is just the knowledge that, we may not be loaded, we may not be super famous, or we may not be. Who cares about it? I don't want it. Who wants it either? Who wants it? The thing that really kept us on an even keel is the feeling of having been in contact with you people. All of you are like really close to our hearts, and it just feels like we've all sent out these radio waves through space and time, and we're reaching up for just the way we've reached out to each other. Oh, I sound like a hippie.
In these times of AI and things, it's these human connections which are super important. So thank you, and we hope to see you at a show. We hope to play more near you if we haven't played near you yet. And if you are somewhere we haven't played and you know a venue and a night that we'd be good at, just let us know, because that's how we ended up doing most of those gigs last year.
Yeah, totally. So keep us posted, and let's all help each other out this year as well.
Yeah.
I've got a good feeling. I don't know why.
I've got a good feeling too. I know it's Year of the Snake, but I don't know what that means. I don't hold much stock in astrology, but it's interesting. What was it last year? Rat?
I have no idea.
Yeah, wow. Well, I'm sure everybody loves this sexy slither of a snake. Am I doing it right?
Yeah, well, you're supposed to sound like, what's his name?
Isaac Hayes? It's not Isaac Hayes, is it?
Barry White.
It's Barry White.
The episode of The Simpsons with Whacking Day, you probably all know. I love the sexy slither of a lady snake.
That's right.
Oh yeah. And on that bombshell,
here's a video of us playing live with not the best sound.
It's locked off.
Pretend it's the past and you've been invited round to a friend's house for a bootleg recording of this band they saw.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you once again. I'm sorry for going on about it, but it really does mean a lot. And thanks for being there. Have a beautiful night. We'll see you in
Smarch.
Okay. Take care of each other and yourselves and everything out there. And good. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Yes. This is Obelisk. Standing behind me, you won't stop talking at me. The things that you wanted
your most kind.